Well, welcome back to another live stream on my YouTube channel. My goodness, it's been quite some time since you guys and I have had a chat. So, hey, how you guys doing? It's Thanksgiving week. Let's all enjoy and be grateful that we have made it this far since the beginning of the year. And let's not take everything we have for granted, guys. So I know this is probably not the best time to talk about all of this stuff because everybody is in mood for Thanksgiving and probably going out of the way trying to get their family gifts and different kind of things, right? But at the same time, like, having this mindset of doing business in Africa or in Congo in particular, because that's what I advocate for consistently on my YouTube channel, right? And yeah, so I figured that I'll come through here and talk to y'all guys about the future of me farming in Congo moving forward, and the things that I would recommend and not recommend if that is something that you were considering doing as well on your own hands, right? So with that being said, let's jump straight to today's video. All right, so I've been farming in Congo since I'd say 2020. Although that wasn't like the year I've launched everything. But before my trip back to the US, when I flew there in 2020, I had acquired, you know, piglets, which was the start of my pig farming and stuff. And then later on down the road, I started my ambition started growing bigger. I fenced off my farm. You know, did weed control. I started like shaping the farm to where I wanted it to be and to look like. Despite the challenges and other difficulties that I've ran into, but again, if you are very passionate about something that you are doing, all of that will not matter. All right, so therefore I kind of like went with the flow and just did what was necessary because I believed in it. And then eventually I started getting feedback from people that, oh god, oh my god, like I've wanted to do farming in Congo, but I've never uh, seen or heard of anybody doing that in Congo. That's why like I like this YouTube platform. Yes, it has been very difficult for me for the past couple of weeks, or I'll even say the past couple of months, to upload farm related content in a daily basis, or at least consistently, just because I've discussed this in one of my live stream, and I've shared with you guys that I am currently back in college, working full time, right? And trying to get my college degree, and at the same time like trying to keep up with everything. It's very, very difficult, so I have to perform a balancing act to make sure that I don't drain myself too much just because I'm trying to put out the content out there, not because I don't care enough for you guys to know the updates and probably have a clear idea of what's going on, because I know we share information with each other through what we know and the experiences that we went through. So in my particular case is that I've traveled back and forth in Congo. I am currently farming there. Just because I'm not putting out videos, it doesn't mean that I'm not doing anything. Of course, I've shared with you how I was due to that. Still did not hold me back from doing what I believe in, from doing what I believe is right, and I'm still continuing to do so. And with your support, and every time you watch my videos and encourage me, it keeps me going, and I will make sure that remains the case, and I will never give up on farming, because there is so much money to be made that walking away from it after already investing the amount of money that I have invested, that does not make any sense. Just basically the same thing as what I'm doing now, going back to college. So I'll tell you a quick story, right? I started like I went back to college here in the United States back in 2017. No, back in 2015. That's when I solely decided that I wanted to go back and get my college education here in America. Remind you, before I flew to the US back in Congo, I was in my third year in college, so I didn't even get to graduate to get my associate degree, and I had to come here to the United States, right? Once I was here, I had to learn the language. I had to like get used to the US, lifestyle and everything before I was confident enough to go back to college. And I made the move. I went back to college and I started taking like evening classes, right? I started with ESL classes and I worked my way from that. So it wasn't like until like when I felt like I was, comfortable, and that's when I started taking multiple classes. But I started with like one class a semester, sometimes two classes a semester, and so forth. So and I built my credits from that. Like I had acquired like so many credits that, and I paid out of pockets because for some reason I've every time I applied for financial aid, I got denied because they say that I was making so much money. And back then, I'm telling you, I was making probably roughly $30,000 a year. But then for some reason, they say that I was making way more money to qualify for financial aid. So I was just like, yeah, you know what? I just gave up on it because I had applied like three times. But luckily, I had applied to scholarships, and I was fortunate enough to win two scholarships throughout my year in college where they paid for my tuition basically, but for the most part I paid out of pockets, right? So I did that and I still did not get my college degree, but I was pushing towards like 40-ish credit like worth of college credits. So then I had developed this urge to join law enforcement, right? And I eventually, long story short, I eventually got into the police academy. Well, I wouldn't say drop out of college, but I discontinued my college program, college education, to focus on law enforcement. So I put myself through the police academy. I graduated. I got my very first job as a deputy sheriff. I was making more money than I've ever made before. At least I thought I was making more money. I was just like, oh wow, like there's no need for me to go back to college and get my criminal justice degree because I'm already in law enforcement. I'm learning all of these things like every day, so there's no need for me to go back and get my college degree, right? So I was just like, all right, cool. I'll just focus on this. But then every time the more I thought about it, the more it did not make any sense. I'm like, hold on, like why would I want to walk away from something that I had already put so much money on? You know what I mean? So like I had put myself through college, I've paid all this tuition, and it would not make any sense if I just walk away from it. I was just like, you know what? Maybe at one point I will have to go back to college and just get my degree so I can get it over with because it's been on my mind for a very long time. And then I went from being a deputy sheriff to becoming a police officer, and it just never stopped. And even the money that I was making, for some reason, something kept telling me that you need to go back to college and get your education. And eventually, I listened to the voice in the back of my head. I went, like, now I'm back, right? So, like, a couple of years later, I'm back. But the good thing is, I was able to transfer my police academy credentials credits towards my college. So it knocked out a significant amount of credits. Now I only had 6 more classes left to get my college degree. So basically I'm taking 2 classes this semester, right? And after I will have 4 more classes, then I'll be done with. So winter I'll be taking 2 more classes, and spring I'll take the last 2 classes and I'll be done with my college degree, pretty much. So why did I tell you this story? Just to say that it's not in my nature to leave certain things undone. So otherwise it'll always be on my mind and I will never feel better about it until I get it done. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's exactly what happened. So even with farming and everything, so now I've built my pig barn, right? The pig barn is there. Now we got to do more weed control because The place is almost abandoned. After this conflict, I had made a decision that I was not going to be doing any activity whatsoever. But after like myself, when I was in Congo, I went there, like everything's, it seems under control. The government had brought peace there, so everybody went back to their business and everything. My mom even visited when they harvest cassava leaves, so she told me everything was good. She probably was the last person to recommend to want me to go visit there when I was in Congo. But like if she said that it's safe, then you know it's safe. So now I'm like constantly in communication with my guy on the farm and my brother also. There is this kids that were guardians of the farm. At one point, they stay there. Like he keeps talking with me, asking me when when I'm bringing them back because they want to work or whatever. And I'm like, okay, now that I feel under pressure, so something needs to be done about this, right? So I know sooner rather than later, I will have to bring like all the animals back, and I'm hoping that this happens very soon because on my mind I'm thinking about it and I'm saying, crap, like why would I want to leave this place? That encompasses multiple trees, I've invested more money on it, and just walk away from this. I mean, this just it's not my nature. No matter how long it takes, but you better believe that very very soon there will be more activities taking place. The good thing is that I've planted trees. It looks like people live there now. There is nobody on the farm. I gotta be honest with you, but they will be back very very shortly, right? So, and me also, it's my own personal effort to share these videos with you, to share my experience with you, but I have not been able to do so because of the things that I have explained to you earlier. Trying to get my education while working full time and keeping up with farming and everything that's happening back in Congo, it could be very rough. You know what I mean? But I don't want to give up on it either. But I'll try the best that I can to share with you the journey, the path, and whether I will recommend farming or I will not. Well, in case you missed one of the videos that I've released in the past where I talked about selling my very first pig, guys, that's when I realized that you could make so much money farming in Congo just because of this, right? Pork is one of the most consumed meat in Congo, if not in the entire world. People love pigs. If you go to like multiple bars, you know, public places in Congo where food is served, pork is cooked in a traditional way in Congo that is just so delicious, right? The demand for the meat is very very high. So by you owning a farm, you will never run out of business. Like in contrast, they will expect you to bring more animals onto the markets. So if you're planning on getting into pig farming, you best be prepared to provide meat out there because these people, they will want to come to you and purchase more pig every single day, and you better make sure you have them available for them, right? But a good thing about it being a small farmer is that you're not going to be the only one in town. There are also other people, doing pig farming, right? They're going to go to like different providers, to different small farmers, and get their meat. But if you get into the business, it is a contribution to the local community and also combating food crisis. Like I always say, and I will never stop beating the dead horse, right, on this topic, because there are not that many farmers operating within Kinshasa to meet the local demands. The growing population of Kinshasa, it is an example of, you know, people not being able to meet like, food demands. Because if we don't really have like a lot of farmers to to produce agricultural products to meet the local demands, then it's just not going to help any of us. Not only that, we're going to be losing money like that, but importing like agriculture or even food products from like neighboring countries, it's kind of embarrassing for a country as big as Congo, because number one, with all these millions of arable lands that we own, we're pretty much doing anything with it. You understand what I'm saying? But if you have bold diasporans like you and I going back to Congo, purchasing land and farming, it's going to change the way things are. Let me be honest with you. Agricultural, there was a very good reason I chose to do farming, because the demand will never go away. You know, we went from different societies, but like farming, it's it's always gonna be there. People need to eat, whether you're vegetarian or not. Like all of this fall under agriculture, and if you have producer of agriculture, then you're good. Think about like how how long do you go a day without like buying any food, whether it is snacks or anything like that, right? So it is just a very good example that without food we can't really get by. And the only people that make it possible is those that get their foods and clothes dirty, so that you have produce available in the shelves in grocery stores. You know what I'm saying? And you got to go back to the root. And that's when I chose farming for a very, very good reason. Of course, I'm not in a position where I'm able to like leave America, go and farm full time in Congo, but it has always been my goal. It has always been my dream. One of these days, that time will come when I will. I'm just pulling into to the garage. Just give me a second here. You know, so sometimes you gotta make sacrifices, because you know, like on my way to work, I had to talk to y'all about this stuff. So it's gonna be a little dark in here because I'm literally into the garage. But just give me a minute. Let me park, and then we'll keep we'll keep talking. Let me pull up here. All right. So I'm in a parking space now. It's a little bit dark here, but you can see me right. Okay, so as I was saying, so if you think about it, you have your answers. Well, would you rather risk into something that you don't know what the outcome will be, or you will rather focus on something that you know the results will be immediate? Because I guarantee you, if you have any sort of food products and you take it to a grocery store, farmers markets, or any other place, or you can just get in touch with like local um, markets and stuff like that, and tell them the products that you have, you don't even have to sign any kind of deals. The customers will be available for you, right? Versus like, you know, advertising your products online and doing all of this X, Y, and Z so that people to get your name recognized out there. It's just a very simple and speedy process. That's why if you get into farming and you have the patience and you're passionate about it and you have what it takes to be a farmer, you will succeed 100%. You know what I mean? So like, I would never have sold my pigs if the conflicts had not taken place. But due to that, I had to do what was best for me so I won't end up losing even way more money. Yes, I did lose money, but then it wasn't to an extent where I would I would consider switching to a different business, because I don't see myself doing anything different than just farming, or maybe real estates. That's another thing that I've talked about on my channel, but like that could also be potentially discussed in a separate videos. But like today we're just focusing on like farming in Congo moving forward. We're like, trust me, there is so much land available for sale for diasporans to go and start the investments. But like if you that type of people who don't care about any of that, that's fine. There are always going to be people who are more interested. But let me tell you something to all of you my Congolese folks out there. I know a lot of you when we trying to get a little political, we're here. We talk about expatriates that are doing business in Congo, owning all of these lands and making like millions of dollars, and you want to condone the local government for favoring them over Congolese people. Like that is a very lame and lazy argument to make, because these people, yes, I mean, with money you can corrupt anybody. Politicians are easily corrupt by business individuals, right? So instead of you complaining, why don't you just get into the game and acquire the same type of wealth that these people have acquired to buy politicians? Because politicians, they get bought even here in America by like big businesses. That's why we see like their campaigns being contribute, like these big businesses contribute to campaign, like they make like campaign contributions to own these politicians. In return, what they get, they enact laws that benefit them more than the people, right? So you could do the exact same thing in Congo, right? If you're complaining too much about these expatriates owning, like, corrupting politicians, you're just losing out on the arguments. Stop that. You just go, you start yours, and like compete in your corner, because having this conversation unnecessarily, it's not gonna make any of this better. It's only it's only gonna make us look weak and non-competitive. But if you really, really want to change the way things are, I would highly recommend you getting into the game rather than just talking about it. It's just as simple as that. If you want to talk about it, you can keep talking about it. And years later, you still can be talking about it, because people will be getting in, making money, getting rich while you're still broke, sitting in front of TV and telling your friends and family how corrupt the system is. Where you could also get into the system and, you know, beat it if you can. That's it. That's just that simple. You will never change the nature of politicians. Politicians also have family to look after. Politicians are also looking after their own personal interests. All right. Corruption is everywhere in the world. It just happens in different layers. It just happens in different dimensions. So you can't just make the corruption that is happening in Africa or in Congo worse than what's happening in the Western world, because we've all watched the news. We've seen the scandal that happened in the UN, where they were receiving money from Arab nations, right, to like vote certain laws that benefited like their businesses within like London and every other places. Only when it happens in the Western world, it doesn't get global attention. But when it's happening in Africa, everybody talks about it, and everybody go out of their way and say, "Hey, you see, Africa will never improve. Africa will never evolve due to corruption." But what do you mean, yeah? So I ain't even trying to get in, too political about this topic, but I just had to put that out there because sometimes it comes up, when people discuss these type of issues, right? So yeah, I figured that I will come to you and talk to you all about this. I hope you enjoy this live stream. I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. If you're watching this on the replay, do me a favor, make sure you to give it a visit, give this live stream a thumbs up, share it with a friend, um, and also let me know in the comment section what you thought about this live stream, the things that I've discussed. If you agree with it or not, let me know in the comment section down below. Until the next one, I'll see you guys soon. And also keep those alerts turned on for videos that I got coming up. I know I've said this multiple times, but again, I'm not making any excuses, but if you've been there, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Um, Working on my college degree, working full time, and actually I was working two jobs because it started taking a toll on me. I did not resign from the second job. I just spoke with the chief and let them know that, listen, I got to focus on school and I'm getting too busy on my main job that I won't be able to show up. But like whenever I'm ready, I'll schedule my hours, I'll come back. And it was generous enough to allow me to do that. So I still have that job, but I'm not physically going there. All right. So I just had to put that out there so I can just have enough time to focus on getting my college degree and at the same time focusing on my main job and all of that. But those YouTube videos, I will work on them. As soon as I'm done, I will be releasing them one after the other, and hopefully you guys learn something from them. And again, just keep your alerts turned on for those videos when they dropped. Until the next one, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out. If I don't see you tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving. And I'll try to do like a short live stream wishing everybody happy Thanksgiving and everything. But let's just all have a fantastic rest of the week so far. Peace.